So we talked about writing things in exponential form and radical form before, right? So we're going to continue that today, right? So everything that we did last time, we're going to continue on that today. So take a look here for a minute. If you have something written as an exponent like this, but now take a look at this exponent. It's 1 over a number, right? It's a fraction, 1 over a number. That denominator here in the exponent becomes the index in a root, okay? So for example, if I have x to the 1 over 3, this is actually, oh no. Okay, so we only have one page today. Maybe you can take notes on like paper.
Yeah.
And then I promise I'll tell you one. Okay, so if you have x to the power of 1 over 3, this turns into a radical with this denominator in the pocket here, and then x is the radicand. All right? So if we have x to the 1 over 7, what would that be? 7th root of x, okay? All right, so take a look here. Let's write this in radical form or in exponential form. So this one, we're going to write it in radical form. So here is the radical form. A goes inside, and then since this is a 2, there is like a little 2 in the pocket here, right? But do we write that? No, it just becomes a square root if it's a 2. If it was a cube root, we would have written it, okay? Now, this, we have to write it as an exponential fraction. So it'll be c to the power of, remember, this becomes the denominator of the fraction, 1 over 8. All right? Yeah. Okay, so this is always the denominator of the exponent. Okay, now, all these had a fraction as an exponent, but in that fraction of the exponent, it was 1 over something, right? What if it's not 1 over something? What if it's a number over another number? Well, let's take a look here. So suppose you have b to the power of x over y. Just like before, this denominator in the exponent becomes the nth root, okay? It goes in it's the index. But now, this numerator becomes the exponent here. And you can either write it inside or you can write it outside. All right? So let's take a look here for a minute. Okay, here you have c to the power of, now this is going to be a fraction. This number here, will it be the numerator or the denominator? The denominator, and then the 5 will be the numerator. So this is c to the power of 5 over 3. Okay? Here, yep, that's it. We're just rewriting it. We're not solving anything. Okay, here, this is going to be a radical. So d is the radicand. It goes inside. Okay, so where does this 4 go? It's the index in here. And then the 7, it either goes over here or 4th root of d to the power of 7 outside over there. So it's an exponent, and that exponent either goes inside or outside. Uh-huh.
Does it matter which way?
Not really. It doesn't really matter when you're doing this. When we're actually evaluating and solving, it might make a difference. So I'll show you guys. Okay, so let's here evaluate. When it says to evaluate, now you have to find a numerical answer, right? Until now, we were just rewriting. We weren't really doing any math. Okay, so this is going to be root 49 on the outside, but what type of root is it? It's just a square root, right? And now this we do have to evaluate. So you have to find actually what value this is. This is 7. Okay? All right, here. This is a root. It's going to be the 5th root of 32. Now, in cases like this, where you have a number inside that you have to evaluate, it's always best to put the exponent outside. Okay? And then here, 5th root of 32. So this is 2 and 16, 4 and 4, 2, 2, 2, 2. If we have a 5th root, how many are we going to group by? 5. So all this comes out as a 2 to the power of 2, so this is a 4. All right? Okay. Here, it's going to be, okay, what root is it going to be? Cube root of 8, and then squared outside. Okay, so what's the cube root of 8 these days? 2. Even on Tuesdays, it's 2. 2 squared, 4. Okay. All right, and now we have a fraction. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Same thing. So we're going to have a root 1 over 25. This is a 2 here, so it's a square root 1 over 25 to the power of 3. Okay, now we go slow. Square root of 1, 1. Square root of 25, 5. So this is going to be 1 over 5 to the power of how much? 3. So on top, 1 cubed is 1. 5 cubed is how much? 125. Okay? And that's it. That's the lesson. It took us like a very little time, right? So, okay. All right.